Hello, it's Bob Pandolfo. Welcome to Power Pace with Pandy. It's Friday, May 2nd, 2025. I have a short video here and an update with the Kentucky Derby with my selections because one of the horses was scratched, the four horse, one of the Baffert horses, who was one of the main speeds in the race. That could change the complexion of the race, but there's still quite a bit of speed. But, the thing is with Baffert's horses, they usually go into the lead no matter what. So, whereas the other jockeys and trainers aren't, always as committed to leaving. That makes Baffert's other horse, the one horse, probably the main speed, Citizen Bull. But he has some questions about his stamina, although he is quick. So what I did is I moved. No, wait a minute. I got to update this. 1 second. I moved Baeza up to third because he drew into the race. No, originally I didn't have him in my top five, so I put him in the third spot because there's only two horses in this race that have a Beyer speed figure of 100 or more. One is the favorite, Journalism, who has 108, and he has two Beyer figures over 100. He has 108, which is by far the fastest on Beyer figures. And now the only other horse with a Beyer figure of 100 or more is Baeza, who earned a 101 in his when he finished second in the Santa Anita Derby. So he has tactical speed. He has post 20. That's not ideal, but I think he's going to have to leave. I would think, to try to establish some sort of position. Hopefully he doesn't get too wide of a trip, especially on the first turn. So now I picked it. Sovereignty, Journalism, Baeza, Coal Battle, another closer, Luxor Cafe, a Japanese horse. So I just left Grande in. Normally I only put 5 horses for the Derby, but being that Baeza scratched in, I already had these 5. Grande comes off an improved effort, and he looks like a horse that could keep moving forward, although he only has 3 starts. But horses, nowadays, anything goes in these derbies. I think it was, who was it? Justify won the Triple Crown after coming into the race with 3 starts. So I changed some things around. Now, on my free page, I have my Kentucky Derby picks. So you go to handicapandwinners.com, click on free, and I put the printouts for this is Power Pace, ranked by speed, and you can see Journalism. Now, the reason why you have 3 horses with over 100 is because these are the Bristnet speed figures. So here you can see it picks at 821, ranked on speed, and that's average speed, because I use an average for that. And then on power form, I ranked them on stamina, and this is my power form system, and you can see it picked 8, 1, 11, 18. Ability and stamina are both horses that can finish well, but Journalism, as you can see, on average speed is also ranked first. So those are all on handicapingwinners.com, as you can see up here, /free.htm. If you go to handicapwinners.com and you just click on free picks, it goes right there. The other thing I wanted to mention, just a brief thing about workouts. Workouts can be very valuable, especially with 3-year-olds coming off a layoff, or first-time starters. And generally speaking, I do look at workouts even for older horses. In the Kentucky Derby, most of the time they're not that helpful because these are all young horses. They're all in perfect condition. If they're not, they get scratched. That's why the 4 horse was scratched, because he has a little bit of a foot problem. It's not a serious problem at all. But the thing is they're not going to run a horse in the Kentucky Derby if there's something wrong with him. Normally, all the horses come into the Derby and normally breezing well. I mean, these are very athletic young horses. They're not older horses that have all kinds of problems or don't like to train. A lot of older horses will not train fast because they know it's not the real race. And they have a lot of experience, so they're like, I'll do my running when the races start. So they're hard to really get to breeze fast. You don't see too many 7-year-old horses breezing 5 furlongs in 58 and 3 or something like that. But you do with younger horses. In this particular race, one horse that did stick out on works was Sovereignty, my top choice, simply for the fact that he's not a good workhorse. And he sometimes gets outworked in the mornings by horses that aren't that as good as him, in the Bill Mott stable. But he has been showing a lot more energy in the mornings, and he's been training, quicker. His last work wasn't fast, but that's because Mott didn't want to, put a fast work into him at that point. He had already breezed him faster, a few days before. So that was one thing that I did notice on the workouts. But workouts for the Derby hit or miss. I remember years ago, Giacomo, I put him fifth. He won and paid some kind of huge price from off the pace. But the reason why I put him in there is because he had been working slow, and then he had 2:47 and change workouts. The clockers weren't that impressed with him because they said he was pushed along. And I thought that it was a good sign because I thought that trainer John Sheriffs was trying to speed him up a little bit and give him a little more stamina by drilling him a couple of fast workouts. So he had the jockey push him. As it turned out, Giacomo rallied. The race set up for him, and he rallied and won at a big price. This year, Baeza is trained by Sheriffs, and another top trainer. But of course, there's a lot of outstanding trainers in this race. So anyway, I just wanted to update this. It's another Kentucky Derby video, and I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. It's free, and it really helps me out. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the race.